Altitude. Altitude changes everything, at least from a place of perspective and understanding. Aircraft can get to altitudes that no man can get to on his own. In a plane, we see the world so much differently than we do from the ground. And because of that, our perspective and understanding of the world around us shifts, if only for a little while. Now, I've always been fascinated by aircraft and by flight. I started flying when I was a baby, and I still, to this day, love to fly. I love to sit and look out the window and see the Earth from every possible altitude. It is just awe-inspiring. But until recently, it really had no other impact on my life until it did. Now, several years ago, I was on a business trip to Brussels, Belgium. I was by myself, and I'd never been to Brussels. I was excited and nervous about the trip and the uncertainty of what was before me. And I think that because of that emotional state, I was open to discovery. And that is always a cool place to be because of what God can show us in those times. Now, I had a window seat on this plane, and I saw Belgium as a whole from 30,000 feet. Then I saw Brussels from 10,000 feet, then 3,000 feet, then from just above the tallest buildings, and then from the ground. Nothing special. Anyone who's ever flown has had a similar experience. But I saw landmarks in the air, and then in the days that followed, I saw them in person from a different perspective, and something changed in me. Something about the different perspectives resonated in me. Brussels was all new to me, which was a big deal to start with, but seeing things of beauty from 10,000 feet and then seeing those same things in person was starkly different. Things were gritty and real on the ground that seemed pristine and larger than life from the air. All of that difference in feeling and understanding just from the difference in elevation, in altitude. I was keenly aware of perspective in a way that I had not been before. I started to think about how we see life from all different altitude perspectives while looking at the exact same place. So we have the in-person view. This is a direct contact viewpoint. We see every small detail of the things right before us and can actively interact with those details. But this is a very focused point of view, which lacks the perspective of the world beyond our direct field of vision. Then there's the from a car, bus, train view. With this view, we can still see our target and we have a bigger field of view, but we lose some of the details of each thing that we can see. We cannot see past the buildings that define our view, and we really can't do much of anything to interact with the world that we can see. Moving on, we have the top of a 10-story building view. Now, we can see even less detail of the focus of our view, but we gain much more perspective of the world around us. We're blocked by only the tallest buildings. We can see 360 degrees around us, making the distance of our view encompass a lot more of the city. Unfortunately, at this point, we have very few ways to interact with the world that we can see. Continuing up, we have the top of the 100-story building view. Now, we're starting to get into truly impressive fields of view. Very few, if any, buildings impair our view, and we can see our city and maybe even the next city over. But we can barely see what we were focused on from the ground. And there's absolutely no way to interact with the focus of our attention. Now, let's jump up to a 3,000-foot view from a plane. Okay, at this point, we can see for miles and miles. We can make out buildings and cars, maybe even individual people. You're higher than any building built by man. There's no way that you can see your focus point anymore. Maybe you can define the area, but not the exact point. Pull back on that plane's control stick and we get to the 35,000-foot view. Okay, now the entire city is just one gray blob on a vast expanse of green. We can see only the biggest features of the city. We have lost almost all perspective of our original focus by this point. Step back further to an orbital view. Okay, now we're good if we can pick out where on Earth the country we were just in is at. And although we are above the Earth, we can't even see all of the Earth from our perspective. We are too close to see one full side of the Earth. So too far away to have perspective on our original target and too close to see all of our new target, the Earth. So step back further to a view from the moon. Okay, the Earth is fully visible, at least the side that is facing us, because, the whole globe Earth thing. But step back even further to a view of the entire solar system. So now we can't even see the Earth at all, just the sun and maybe a big planet like Saturn. Then step back even further to a view of the entire galaxy, looking at the entire Milky Way. Now, the sun is just a tiny dot amongst hundreds of billions of other tiny dots that represent each of the stars and the countless more planets revolving around them. Now, take one final big step back to a view of the entire universe. If you could see all of the universe, you might not even be able to see our galaxy hidden in the inky black of space. Okay, then turn around and zoom all the way back into that in-person view that we started with, and keep on zooming into a microscopic world where we can no longer see the physical world around us, only the smallest details of what makes up us and the rest of the universe. Now, I know that I've taken this to extremes, but the point is that there are extremes in our observations of the world around us. The point of view that we have in any given thing may well look like one of these views. For each person, the view may be different. Think about how people can see the same thing so very differently. And now I'm not just talking about physical places, I'm also talking about religions and science and ideologies and politics and sports and art, creativity, and everything else in life. Some people are so focused on the microscopic things and whatever the thing is that they're passionate about, they have no understanding that there are actually real people involved, that there may be other potentially better points of view, or someone is so wide in their view of whatever their thing is that they cannot see the sun for all of the stars in the galaxy. I don't think many of us are willing, or maybe it's better said that not many of us have the capacity to adjust our point of view to look at a thing objectively from different views. You see, each time we step back a little further, we see something new, maybe in a different light than we did before. And that can be scary because we may have to change our opinions or beliefs if we take that step back. Now, there are outside forces that affect our point of view as well. First and foremost is time. Time colors our view of the world we know. Sometimes time softens the edges of our view of a thing, making it less defined and in focus, even though we have not changed our point of view. Then it can also shift our point of view without our choosing, because we've grown mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. Time is a huge factor in the way our thoughts change about things in life, and not always for the better. Just like weather disrupts our view of the world, the things of our life do the same to our point of view. There are things that bring fog, making it very hard to see in front of us. Foggy things like, the uncertain world around us and the spin the media puts on it from every side. There are things that bring clouds and rain, circumstances outside of our control that block out most of the light and soak up our lives. Cloudy, rainy things like serious health issues or toxic relationships. And then there's the darkness. The dark makes it impossible to see any point of view. We can't even see ourselves. We're just locked inside our own thoughts and emotions, darkening things like addiction and extreme loss. Now, you see, it's not just our point of view that colors how we think about things. There are also these outside forces and so many more. Okay, let me go back to my Brussels trip. Now, I saw the beauty of a great old city from a point of view above it, where I could only see its beauty. And then I saw the heartbreaking ugliness of parts of a broken city from an up-close and in-person point of view. As I took a bus across the whole of the city, that stark contrast broke my heart. The realization of the suffering of people, the realization of the destruction of parts of the city due to the brokenness of the people living there at the edge of poverty, the realization that the sublime beauty and utter ugliness of the exact same place, literally the very street, only seen from two very different points of view. Those realizations made an impression on me that will forever shape how I see the world and how I think about everything in life. Now, believe it or not, this video right here is the idea that started this whole channel. Well, more rightly, this was the first thing that I thought I wanted to share with people. Not that it's all that profound, but because of the impact that discovering this and truly grasping the implications had on me. Hey, I'm sure that many of us have had similar experiences or just understood the dichotomy of life already. And that's great if you do. You're already in a place of understanding perspective in a better way. Now, I understood the dichotomy of life even as a child. I had the privilege of visiting many places around the world in my youth, and I saw poverty and need in the midst of my family's relative wealth and success. I understood it, but I didn't feel it in a really meaningful way until this trip to Brussels. See, it just took me considering how altitude played a factor in how we all see the world around us to truly understand perspective. Now, I want to encourage all of us right now to spend some time looking at our point of view on the things that we're most passionate about in life and in our creativity. Examine them and then make an honest assessment of whether we are too close or too far away in our view of that thing, whatever it is, for that view to be truly honest and healthy. As we work through those things in our lives, hopefully it will give us an opportunity to see life from the best possible altitude as we each go, create, and be a blessing. You can support our channel by subscribing, hitting that bell icon to get notified when new content comes out, and liking our videos. If you'd like to consider supporting our team financially, there's a link in the video description with more details. Those things will help our channel for sure, but if you do nothing else, please spend some time in the comments of our videos encouraging one another to create, to help others create, and to help grow that creative nature within us all. Oh, and you can check out these videos too. Thanks. We'll see you again soon.